This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone to the CureGN Study Coordinator Town Hall webinar. We have the one today and we'll have the same one tomorrow at 9:00 a.m. Eastern Time, and you're more than welcome to join that one as well. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We are recording the Town Hall. If you're not speaking, please mute your phone. It helps with alleviating all the background noise. And the recording will be available on Basecamp. And if you want to ask the questions, but you don't want to speak up, you can always use the chat function. Our agenda today, we will be going over the dashboard coordinator access, and Becky from U of M will be going over that for you. I'll do some follow-up training for the DPR as well as biosample shipping, and then just some reminders. Okay. Becky, if you're ready, I will go ahead and pass this on to you.
Great. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, good. Thank you. So thank you for coming today. What I'd like to do is just sort of give some updates on the CureGN dashboard. So as many of you have sort of voiced in the past, you would like to be able to see what your patients see when it comes to the CureGN dashboard. So we have worked with CMCD and we have been able to make that happen. So what we're going to go over today is just sort of a brief overview of sort of what the dashboard is, what that will look like for you, and then what your first steps will be. So what is the dashboard? So if you don't know, if you're new or you just really haven't had much of an experience working in the dashboard or really even seeing it, the dashboard is a way for patients to see all of their collected study data in real time. So when results from the study, their personal results are received, they're posted to the dashboard, and patients can go in and look and see those results. And then they can also take those results and show them to their provider. It's also a great way for us to be able to share study announcements with you if there's upcoming fireside chats, if there are any sort of announcements or other study opportunities that we'd like to share. There's news feeds on the dashboard, and we always post updates there as well. The dashboard provides information on 5 areas for patients: their blood pressure, kidney function, urine protein, urinalysis protein, and their patient-reported quality of life. Next slide, please. So when you're given access to the dashboard, you'll first receive an email, and this is what the email will look like. This is all part of your onboarding process. Because you don't have access to it right now, you'll need to set up an email. The information here that we sort of have these link inserted, that'll be private information that's sent to you. It'll be unique logins. You'll create a password, and then you will have access to view what your patients view. So when you get that email sent to you, that means you have access to the dashboard and you can go ahead and log in and start setting up your account and start looking at your patient's information. Next slide. So this is the first thing you see. This will be the login page after you've sort of set up your account initially, and you get that email that pops up and you do your login. So the next time you go to login, you will go to curegendashboard.org. You'll put in the login information that you created. This is available in both English and Spanish, so whatever you are most comfortable with. Next slide. The next screen that you will see after you log in is a screen that will look very similar to this, and there will be this drop down that you'll see that's circled here. When you are given access to dashboard, and that generates that email that will be sent to you, all of the patients at the site that you're given access to, that you've become a coordinator for, you will have access to see all of the patients in that site. It'll be listed by their patient ID. You'll go and you'll select the patient that you would like to see what their information is through this drop down. Next slide. Another really cool feature that we've added in here is you'll be able to see the last time that your patient has accessed the dashboard. We hope that this will help with being able to start that conversation with your patients, and sort of have that discussion of, I see you haven't logged into the dashboard in a really long time. Is there something that we could do better that would make it more, useful for you? Or I see you never logged in the dashboard before. How can we help with that? So you'll be able to go into the patient's into the appointment with your patient knowing about their dashboard history. Next slide. So this is the layout of the dashboard. So at the very top, you'll see the access, their last access date. And then right under this is where the actual meat and potatoes of the dashboard layout is. It's very simple, as you can see. So it's not complex for you guys to be able to see for the first time and start looking at and being able to talk to your patients with right away. As you can see, it has the 5 categories that I mentioned earlier that has the patient's information in it. And then on the right is sort of a news feed, and that will update as well as we have study announcements, as there are events coming up. So, it's always great to mention that to your patients as well, so that we can, so that you can say, if you want any upcoming information, make sure that we know that the link to the next fireside chat is posted on the dashboard. So it's just another easy way for you to sort of like share that information with patients, and another incentive for them to go on and be able to view this. Another great thing at the bottom of the page in the dashboard, for both you and your patients, will be a way for you to message the DCC directly. So I am one of the people who is a recipient on this. So if you have a question or an issue with the dashboard, you can submit it right on the dashboard, and it will go to me and a few other people on our team. And obviously we check our email daily, so it would be a great way if you can't remember our email or you don't quite know who to contact. Always feel free to send that email directly through the dashboard, and we will make sure that it gets to the right people. And make sure that you're able to share that with your patients as well, that's always a way for them to contact us directly. So we thought, since this was the first time that you guys have really had a chance to even see the dashboard, and we'll be starting this conversation with your patients for the first time, we thought it might be nice to kind of just give you some prompts to start with, to start that conversation. The first is sort of if you've never logged into the dashboard before, you might want to bring out something like, it looks like you've never logged in the dashboard. This is a great tool that, we can provide for you. If this is something that you're interested in doing, we'll make sure that you have access. Let us know if you have any questions. And then you're able to right then in the appointment, maybe bring that up and show them exactly how to log in, what it's going to look like, what they're going to see. Or alternatively, if they have logged in but they haven't done it in a while, you can also kind of have that conversation with them as well. Like, oh, I see you haven't logged in in a while. Could you let me? Is there a problem? Are you having an issue? And then if there's an issue with logging in or what they're seeing, since you guys are, you're the direct contact with the patients, that's a great way for us to know if there's any problems that we can address to make that user experience a lot better for them. Next slide. I think that might be it. Yep. So that's it. So again, it's just very simple. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, we're going to sort of roll this out slowly, so that we can catch any mistakes without doing a huge, hard opening all at once. So you'll know you have access. So within the next few weeks, you should start getting these emails saying that you now have access to the dashboard. When you get that email and you log in, let us know if you have any problems. The email that's in the slide, the CureGN help, dashboard help, that's a great email for you to use to let us know if you're having any issues. I'm also on the email, as well as members of our technical team. So we'll be able to make sure that you have that access. And as soon as you get that email, you're able to log in and you should have full access to everything. Are there any questions that we can help with? And don't worry about it's extremely easy to access. It really is. It's very simple. I'm always available to help do another quick little walkthrough with you. Don't worry if you didn't catch everything today. Everything will be on how to set it up and walk through everything will be in the emails that we send. And then also I'm happy to share these slides or any other information as well.
Thanks, Becky. It was very informative. So does anybody have any questions for Becky before we move on?
Okay, great. Well, if something comes up
Definitely.
after this, let me know.
Yep, definitely. Okay, on to DPR. So just some reminders here. And so when you are uploading to GN Link, you upload the pathology report at enrollment, and it must be in a PDF format. EM images can be uploaded at any time after enrollment, and those must be in a JPEG format. And the biopsy slides just need to be uploaded prior to sending to the DPR. And this is something that's changed, and it goes into effect now. Those need to be in a JPEG format as well. Okay. And we will be updating the instructions, and we'll have those for you by the end of the week. Okay. We have lots of resources available to you to look at, to know how to upload, what to upload, what issues to look for before uploading. So we have the chapter 6 of the pathology of the MOP. We also have the appendices to the MOP. We have the de-identification instructions, the DPR quick start guide, the DPR shipping with FedEx, the research pathology request form, site level QC of pathology slides, as well as the DCC QC checklist. And that's what I use when I do the QCing of anything that gets uploaded. So please just, use these when you're when you're working on uploading, de-identifying, any of those things. Please use these resources. And if there's something else that you would like that you don't have access to, just let me know. We can always pull something together for you. Something new that we have is the DPR widgets. So on your home page at the bottom, underneath your past due widgets, you have the one that says DPR study task. So this is, instead of having to go into the pathology tab and look to see like, okay, are they eligible yet? You can come here and it's going to tell you what needs to still be done. So it'll show you if it's the EM images that need to be uploaded, the pathology slide collection copies that need to be uploaded, or the pathology report. And I'll have that. So anybody that's listed on here, they're eligible to be sent anything that's under the task list. So please reference this widget, and it'll help you know who needs to be sent in or uploaded. And once you complete the task, it'll go ahead and take it off of the widget, just like it does for the other ones. So now I just kind of want to go over some of the de-identification that needs to be done. Everyone's been uploading, which is great. Unfortunately, I end up sending back probably about 85% of them because something's not de-identified or labeled correctly. So I just kind of want to do a reminder to make sure everybody is aware of what to look for. So the descriptive identifiers that need to be removed are names and initials that pertain to the patient, the hospital, the lab, physician, pathologist, operators, or any names and initials. Gender and sex needs to be removed, including pronouns such as him, her, he, she. Race, any logos, any QR codes should all be removed. Number identifiers that need to be removed is date of birth, but we do want the age. So leave the age in, but make sure you take out date of birth. Medical record numbers need to be removed, as well as if there's like a bed number, telephone number, fax, CLIA number, just any type of number that could be considered an identifier needs to be removed. Okay. Another thing to remember when you are shipping slides to the repository or the DPR is that you have to send a manifest, okay? And you need to make sure that all the slides are on the manifest so that the manifest matches what's in the slide boxes. Very similar to what happens when you do shipping of biosamples. You need to make sure everything matches. And I know that some people have been having issues with having the email pop up. So we have made an addition to link, and that'll be happening later this month, or in July, sorry. We're going to have an overlay being added. So when you're emailing the manifest, you won't be able to move off of that page until the preview email loads, okay? So when you click the manifest to destination facility button, this loading icon, and then the email will pop up for you. And then you just go ahead and you can, if your name's not on here as a CC, or if there's somebody else you need to CC, you would just type in their information, their email address, hit the send button, okay? And that will email the manifest to the DPR. I get a copy and you'll get a copy. So anybody that's up here on the 2 or the CC list will get a copy of it. Because I have had 1 to 2 emails a week from the DPR let me know that they did not get a manifest. So we really need to be diligent on making sure those get sent. Some other biopsy slide reminders. You can send less than 5 slides to the DPR per case. This is a change because I know before it's always been you had to have at least 5 and that was the minimum in Cure 1. But they have changed that to where it can be less than 5 slides. You also want to only send slides that appear to be stained. If there's no stain on it, you don't want to send it. Okay. The electronic manifest has to be in CSV form and it has to be sent via GN link before the samples are shipped or the slides are shipped so that they have it and they know to be prepared and to look out for your shipment. And if there are any issues on the slide, please indicate that on the copy before uploading it to GN link. What I'm noticing, and I'm still going through and looking, not all issues are showing up on the copies. So I do need your help in identifying any issues. And then I've got some examples here to show you like what's the feedback we're getting, okay? So just refer to these examples when reviewing slides. Again, get several emails from the DPR about this, issues with the slides. And some things I'm not able to tell, but I'm going back through the copies right now for the specific ones that they've indicated for me so I can see if I can really tell what's going on, or I may reach out just to say, hey, if you see this, please make sure that to note it on there. So some of the issues that affect the DPR being able to scan the slides. First one is the label sandwich. It's basically when there's more than 2 labels on a slide. So similar here, like there'd be like 5. And I have seen that many. So we just ask that you discuss it with your local pathologist as to whether these labels on the slides can be temporarily removed. If the request is granted, make a copy of all the glass slides with the patient's identifiers and original labels, front and back of slides, for your own record. And do not upload this copy to GN link, especially since it's got the patient identifiers on it. And then that way you get them back, you can put the old labels back on. But yeah, if there's more than 2 labels, it's really hard for them to scan them. Another issue they've run into is dirty slides. So they just ask that you clean the slides with a tissue before you strip them, although they'll more than likely try to clean them themselves before they scan them. Okay. Some other issues, pen marking, and that I've seen a lot of. For some reason on this one, it shows up as a green glob. A lot of times it's a circle, like the pathologist had circled something on the slide. So just check with the pathologist to see if the pen markings can be removed. And if they can, clean the slide to remove it. And if not, just go ahead and send it as is. Unless where the pen markings are covering like the tissue, like all the tissue, and it's not, like here it's not covering the tissue, but say they were, where they wouldn't really be of any use, those you wouldn't need to send. But again, please just upload the copy to us and we can look at it and see if it's okay to send. Another issue that's come up is cracked or broken slides. If there's like one little crack in it, whether on the tissue section or away from the tissue section, it's okay to send in. But if you've got multiple cracks or it's broken, don't send it to the DPR because they cannot scan those. Similar to what you see here, there's like a big crack going through it. That's just can cause a lot of problems for their scanner. Air bubbles. If an air bubble involves a tissue section, do not send it. If the air bubble doesn't involve a tissue section, you can go ahead and send it.
What? Can you open that? My hand's got a little...
So yeah, just depending on where the air bubble is, how big it is. And sometimes these don't really come through on the copies that are uploaded. That's why a lot of times I'll respond back to you and ask you like, hey, is this a bubble in the slide? So again, those are things that you can, and you guys can indicate this on the copy that you send. So once you make the copies, if there's something you see is just not coming through to show me what it is, you can just mark it on there, say, you know, oh, this is a bubble or this is a crack, or pen markings. Okay. So for the biopsy QC, some more is each slide is labeled with a study barcode label, and barcodes need to be continuous, which you guys are doing a great job with that. Thank you. No identifiers are viewable through or around the study label, similar to this bottom one here where you can see the name below underneath it from the below label. No study identifying information is written on the barcode. All you need to write is just the level and the stain. Label text across the short axis, not the long, so you want it to go this way and not the vertically. And make sure that it fits completely within the frosted glass frame and does not overhang into the specimen side of it. And visually, slides appear to be from a consistent piece of tissue. Okay. So I've got some slides. These are just some examples, kind of which slides can be sent to the DPR. Okay. So if you were looking at these slides, so this first one here, would you want to send that one to the DPR? And I'm going to let you guys go ahead and answer the question for me. So if somebody wants to. Yep. Did somebody want to say? And I did see your message, Suzanne. Go ahead.
No, you wouldn't send that.
Nope. And that's because we have the sandwich, the label sandwich, as well as crack in it. Thank you. The third one is good. Yes, this one right here is a perfect slide. If they could all be like that, that would be great. And Suzanne had asked, how do you know if it's from a continuous piece of, let me go back, consistent piece of tissue? So yeah, it's kind of like, so you'll see like this middle one here, and the others, the other slide looks very similar. And that's just kind of how I eyeball it, is it looks like they all fit together. This fortunately is not something that'll get it kicked out of the DPR. So if you do send something that doesn't look quite right, that's okay. But they just want you to just kind of look at it, you know, make sure nothing looks really odd about between the different slides. Okay, how about the second one? Would you want to send that one?
No.
Because you can see the name underneath. And then there's also all the big pen markings. These big ones are an issue. These little ones, as long as they're not on the specimen, you're okay. If they do cross over the specimen, then yeah, you probably wouldn't want to send it. Okay, so we already said the third one is right. How about the fourth one here?
Are there 9 modules for the mandatory top?
But most of you could just...
I'm gonna go pee first.
So this one we wouldn't want to send. One, it's got a big bubble going right across all the specimens, so we definitely wouldn't want that one. And then the label is crooked and it's hanging over the edge, both over the outside edge and into the outside of the frosted edge. So this one, if the bubble wasn't there, all you'd have to do is just fix the label, and then it could be sent in. And then this last one, so it does have, it's a dirty slide, but if you can clean it, then great. If not, you can still send it in because they'll go ahead and try cleaning it as well. So this one would be okay to send. Okay. Oh, and I left off my little X. So the first one wouldn't be sent. The second one wouldn't be. The third one would. The fourth one wouldn't, and then the fifth one would be sent. Okay. Okay. Just checking the messages there. Okay. So do you guys have any questions about the DPR shipping or uploading to the GN link for us to do the QCing? Again, like I said, it's hard for me to see everything that's on a copy. So please just, look out for these issues. If you see them, just jot it down next to it and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing on the actual slide. It's not coming through on the copy, because that will definitely help a lot. And just make sure that you definitely use the resources so that you know when you're de-identifying information, make sure you get everything. Okay. But I have to say, like anything I've sent back, you guys have been really good about fixing it and returning it back. So I appreciate that. So biosample shipping, again, it's pretty much what I want to discuss on this is very similar to what we talked about with the DPR shipping with the manifest. Okay, so let me go ahead and we'll get into GN link here. Maybe. There we go. And let me sign in.
Briefly stepped into.
Okay. Just wait for it to go through. So we just want to make sure that when you're shipping, regardless of it is a manifest or if it's biosamples or if it is DPR slide labels, that you make sure that you have a manifest. So if we go into the facilities tasks, again, you'll see we have the PCC. That's if you ship directly to your PCC for like DNA. The scanning facility is for the DPR. NIDDK is for all the biosamples. Receiving facility, so this is from when you ship out the DPR label or slides. When you get them back, you need to go ahead and mark them as received back. And then the NIDDK genetics, which we actually don't ship to that anymore. But it's on here because they were done in the previously. Okay. So let's go and we'll just go into the shipping manifest for NIDDK. So it would be all the other samples. And you see it says loading. Okay. It's going to tell you here who you're shipping it to, the address. And then it'll show you everything that you have available to ship. And then you can, let me clear it out here. Okay, so this is what it'll look like when you first get in. Nothing's marked as shipped or unshipped. If you're shipping everything you have, you can just mark it as shipped. And then if there's some like, oh wait, I'm not shipping this sample, you can just come right back in here, mark them as unshipped. Okay, so let's just do that for a few here. Okay, so once you have everything mark that you're going to ship. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. You would select your carrier, right, and then put in your tracking number. And then, of course, the date of the shipment. So if you're getting it ready the day you're shipping it, put today's date. If you're not going out till tomorrow, then you put tomorrow's date. And it says to please print 2 copies using the print icon at the top right-hand corner of this page. So you can print out 2 copies here. And you can print all pages or just this page. We always suggest you do 2 pages or both pages. Or what you, and then one goes in the box and one's for your records, okay? Another option too to print out is if you want to wait until you get the actual CSV file in the email and then print that out. Either way is fine, as long as the one of them that's generated from link is printed. So the second page here will show you what you're shipping. So everything that you've selected to ship by the type. So EDTA, NACIT, NAHAP, and free, pellet, PI, PI, SST, and whole blood, whole urine. So then you would send it to shipping. And so basically what you do when you're sending it to shipping, it's that these samples are all set and it's creating the manifest, okay? And then you would just email the manifest to the destination facility. And as you see, we now have that loading pop-up. And as soon as then it'll go away as soon as the pop-up. And you need to make sure that you wait for this email to pop up. You can confirm who it goes to. And I'm actually going to delete everybody else off of here because they don't need to see it. Since this is a test. Okay. And again, you can put, if you don't see your name in the list, you can go ahead and put it in yourself. If there's somebody else at your site you want to have access to it or see it. And then you see the subject is the shipping manifest. The attachment is in a CSV. And then just gives a little message that you completed the shipping manifest and it's attached. If you needed to put a different message in there, you're more than welcome to do that. So say they didn't get the original manifest. You can always put in here like, oh, this is the request for a duplicate manifest or something like that. Whatever you want. Okay. And then you can just hit send. And then again, when you hit send, it loads. And then when that goes away, that means that it has been sent. Okay. So we just need to make sure that that gets done every single time you ship. Okay. Because I'm sure as many of you have seen, you get the email from the repository saying, hey, we didn't get this. It's like, well, yeah. So, and it's easy enough to resend, but it does drag out the process a lot longer. Okay. Same with the scanning facility, same thing. Again, it shows you the address it's going to, which I'm not sure why it has our address. This is a test site, so that makes it, could be why it says that. Again, you would mark what you ship, and then you would enter all the other information, and then go to the second page, which again, it's going to show you the total of what you've got. You would send to shipping and then email the manifest. And when you email the manifest, you wait for it to load. You get the pop-up. When you hit send, and it's loading, so you know that it's, so as soon as you hit send, you just want to make sure that it goes through. So you just wait for that little icon to stop and then email that it's been sent. Okay. Let's see, receiving facility. Again, that's when you get the slides back. Okay. And you just come in here and you say, okay, you received it. Is it still intact? Which it should be. These are only 2 on this list, so more than likely, yes, we got them both back. But is there a slide that's missing? You would want to mark it as missing, or if one's broken. Okay. And then you just hit continue. once you've marked whether you received it, the date you received it. So we're going to go ahead and put, and then you just complete receiving and then continue. Okay. So that's a lot easier than it is when you're actually ship it out because you're not waiting for the manifest to pop up. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions about shipping? Okay. Everyone's being so quiet. So we have some reminders. So if you have an issue with your NGN link, you can email the CureGN project management at arborresearch.org and CC CureGN help, as well as your PCC lead coordinator. Another option is if you're actually in link is to go to the online help and email through there. But just make sure when you email that you give specific examples such as the study ID, the visit, the CRF, and what the issue is. Our next round of town halls is going to be in September. If you have any ideas, suggestions on what you want to hear or see presented, or if you'd like to present something, please just email us at curegnprojectmanagement@arborresearch.org. So we want to make sure these town halls are beneficial to you. And so we want to know what you want to hear about. Okay. Any comments, questions, feedback, anything? Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time and coming to this today. You're more than welcome to come to the one tomorrow. And we will be reviewing the same information. And we are recording, so this will be. Oh, does somebody have a question?
He's the only.
Thanks, Karina. Thank you. I do appreciate y'all coming on today. And again, you're more than welcome to come to tomorrow's.
Is he the black guy?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a wonderful
When and how did we see him?
Probably end of April.